The Night Riders pack, Asher's pack, relocated and made Whispering Bay Island their permanent royal base.
Oliver's countdown sounded in the background as my punches and kicks landed on the rogues. I wished to do this as effortlessly and as quickly as possible, so I moved swiftly. Choosing their vital spots, temples, necks, and knees, I hit them one by one, and they dropped like flies. Night air rang with their cries of pain, the crunching of bones and their mangled sighs, but I didn't stop until the countdown reached 10. Oliver slowly opened his eyes again. As soon as he did, all the rogues were writhing on the hard ground, some unconscious and others with broken limbs. I snorted and dusted my hands together as Oliver's cunning smile widened. The admiration in his gaze swelled my heart. He sent me a thumbs up on a job well done. I took a bow, spreading my arms, loving showing off in front of him. "Thank you, Ollie." Moving towards their leader, I grabbed his arm and twisted it behind his back. He yelled out in pain as the tip of my 4-inch heel landed on his temple. I pressed his face further into the asphalt concrete and dragged, letting his skin peel off from his ugly face. "Who sent you? Speak truthfully or I will flay the whole skin from your face," I wickedly questioned. "I don't know, ISW we were only asked to kidnap a child. I seriously don't know who it was," as they spoke only through the phone. He screeched out in pain. I dug the heel further into his flesh, letting the skin puncture and blood gush out. He squealed, his expression melding into a painful one. His ignorance fueled this rage inside of me. How stupid could they be? Not even meeting someone and setting out to fulfill a kidnapping. "What was the number? Tell me," I demanded, and he quickly mumbled out the number. I gestured to the driver and he promptly noted it down, having gotten out of the car and standing by Oliver's side. A look of admiration he carried. "Text the number to me," I asked the driver, and he nodded. Kicking his temple with my heel for one last time so he lost consciousness, I let his arm go. It dropped on the concrete near him. "Let's go home," I told Oliver, and he grabbed my hand. We sat back in the car and drove home. Oliver fell asleep in the way while my mind whirled with thoughts of who must have sent the rogues after us. Reaching home, I tucked Oliver in bed and kissed him goodnight. Entering my own room, I kicked off my heels and took off the torn dress. Oliver had chosen it for me, so it saddened my heart to see it in such a state, changing into a comfortable nightshirt with Queen written in bold on its front. I grabbed my phone and plopped on the bed. My shoulder was aching. It hadn't gotten time to heal properly before I had to spring into action again. I would need to pop some painkillers before sleeping and take the medication Asher had gotten for me. Ignoring the throbbing pain, I opened the contacts and checked the number, but it wasn't listed in my contacts. An idea sprung in my brain and I decided to ask Asher for help. Clicking on his name, I hit the video call button. It didn't take him much time to receive the call and his ruggedly handsome face came into view. My heart thumped in my chest and I found my cheeks burning as his sultry eyes found mine. "Anna, everything all right?" he asked in that gravelly voice of his, little concern I could decipher from his words. I shook my head. "No, it was a disaster." I went on to explain everything that had transpired at the banquet with Alpha Lancelot, Ruby, and Noah. Alpha Lancelot's announcement and Noah's bizarre behavior, and then the rogue attack. Asher's eyes flashed dangerously and I could see his jaw tightening. "Are you guys all right?" he asked in apprehension, and I nodded. "Yeah, I can easily handle a bunch of rogues. I broke enough bones that they wouldn't be bothering anyone anytime soon," I told him proudly. There was a growing need where I wished to inform him of my actions and expect his praise. He smiled in satisfaction at me. "I knew you would keep Oliver safe. I always will." So I received this number from their ringleader but didn't recognize it. "Can you check and find out who it belongs to?" I expectantly asked. "Of course, text me the number and my tech expert will locate it in no time. Anyone trying to harm my child will not be spared," he announced in a dark tone which sent a shiver through me. His anger somehow spurred me on. Some unhinged part of me enjoyed seeing him beat the shit out of people as he did with Eugene, and I wondered how epic it would be to fight alongside him in a battle, defeating the enemy, enjoying the crunching sound of breaking bones. I was still lost when Asher cleared his throat and grabbed my attention. "Well, you must be tired. Take medicine for your shoulder. It's still healing." His concern stirred the chords of my heart. and I found myself nodding at him. "I will. Good night, Asher." "Good night, Anna," he answered softly, almost sexily, as his eyes lit up and Blaze flashed through watching me. I ended the call soon before it would escalate and my body would be left craving him like a drug.
About a century ago, the continent of Chanria was dominated by 3 strong wolf packs, which included Night Riders, Pack Asher's Pack, Thunder Rage Pack, Shadow Howl Pack, Ruby's Pack, along with some other small packs. The hold of these packs was not limited to Chanria. It extended to the whole world. Being rich and influential, these packs controlled the world economy and the flow of money. Being the supreme overlords of their packs, they possessed unlimited power and were always in pursuit to extend it. This waged wars with other packs, and amongst the 3 supreme packs, it led to bloodshed and the loss of countless lives. Eventually, the packs began to split up and move further away. The Night Riders Pack, Asher's Pack, relocated and made Whispering Bay Island their permanent royal base. Their kingdom flourished there. The Thunder Rage Pack split into several packs and settled in Howler City. The Night Shadow Warrior, Anna's Pack, and Dark Moon Pack, Alpha Lancelot's Pack, used to be part of the same pack but became different ones along with a few others in Howler City. The territories left by the Thunder Rage Pack were occupied by the Shadow Howl Pack. They combined their own territories and the country of Wargia was set up. As time passed and technological advancement took place, the world turned into a global village. The leader of Shadow Howl Pack was determined to make his pack the most advanced and largest in the world. His vision led to him collaborating with demons, the forces of evil, which would make one sell their souls for a few benefits. To pursue these goals, the Alpha of the Shadow Howl Pack decided to attack the Night Shadow Warrior under an elaborate scheme which got Anna's father killed. Not only that, the Alpha of Shadow Howl Pack was power-hungry and would go to any lengths to achieve his goals. Asher's POV. I postponed my beta. Eden's visit to Howler City as I had called him earlier. His revelation that there were traces of a demon found within the traders they had captured on the island had me asking him to stay put. Instead, I personally decided to visit the island and handle the situation. The demons were a nuance, and I despised them with a passion. They did nothing but bring chaos with them and disrupt the peace the packs were trying to maintain. I arrived on the island and went ahead to the castle. Eden welcomed me with his cheerful disposition. "Welcome back, how is Oliver?" he inquired, embracing me. Being his usual self, but he has become too attached with his new nanny, I confided, and he smirked. "He needed a female touch just like you. Freshen up, I will arrange dinner." He winked with his smirk-styled grin, and I had to shake my head. Eden will never change. I made my way to my room and took over my suit jacket. Before I could remove my cufflinks, my smartwatch vibrated. I had set it on the alarm that if Oliver or Anna's watches sent a message, I would receive it along with their current location. The alarm was from unusual activity being captured by Oliver's watch. My heart flipped in my chest. Quickly, I grabbed my phone and placed a call to Oliver. He received it instantly. "What's wrong, Oliver?" I questioned, my eyebrows scrunched together and my heart beating like a drum. "Rogues attacked us, Dad, but don't worry. Anna is very capable. She has them handled. Let me show you." He sent me a few pictures he had captured. With a thudding heart, I opened them and saw Anna fighting with a bunch of big men. Since Oliver was short, mostly his watch had been able to capture the images of her lean legs. Her dress has been torn open to give her agility to move like a pantheress and kicked their asses. I couldn't help but stare at her milky legs, and the memories of our passionate night began to play in my mind like a non-stop reel. Sweat broke out on my forehead, a restless flame stirring low in my gut that made the fabric of my trousers feel tight and unyielding. I could feel the raw, thrumming pull of desire, sharp and unignorable just from seeing her move those delicious thighs of hers. "Fuck," I growled. Blaze chose exactly that moment to tease me as well. "You have become too sensitive since making love to her. Even her pictures arouse you now." He wasn't wrong. She was like a drug I had started to crave. Well, we found out only she can handle me, so it's a natural response. We had discovered someone compatible and the body craved her, craved that touch and that feeling of being lost inside her. Before I could dwell more on this and my situation, the door to my room was knocked. "Come in." I gave permission, and Eden entered with a grim expression, alerting me that something had gone wrong. "What is it?" I asked as he prowled towards me. "The traitors in the dungeon are all dead. It seems like the demon got to them. Their souls seem to have been sucked out of their bodies. Their mouths were open in shock and their eyes had whited out," he explained, making me grunt in annoyance and get out of my seat. It meant no one was safe. Not even Oliver and I had to stay here and deal with the problem. "So the demon is running free in my pack? We need to weed him out and kill it before it causes more damage." Demons had abilities to latch themselves with human consciousness and control the actions of an individual. Stronger demons could take hold of the physical bodies of humans as well. "I am afraid so," Eden added, raking his hand frustratedly through his hair. "I need you to triple the security of the island, increase checkpoints, and install CCTV cameras in every nook of this island. Start investigating when the first incident related to the demon took place. I need a full report soon," I instructed, and Eden solemnly nodded his head. Before he could turn and leave, I had another task for him. "One more thing. Do you know this woman?" I took out my phone, scrolled, and showed him a picture of Anna with Oliver. Eden's eyes blew wide in shock. I could see his pupils dilate and a smile creep up on his face as the realization hit him. He lifted his eyes to find mine, which held curiosity, and said, "Oh, where did you get this picture? Did you guys finally find each other?" Eden questioned with his eyes blown wide. "Just answer the question, Eden. Is she Oliver's biological mother? The woman who wished to meet me and gave birth to my son?" I wearily asked again. Anticipation was building inside my chest. "Yes, she is. Her name is Sarah. Where did you find her?" I inhaled through my mouth and then exhaled slowly through my nose, listening to his confirmation. I was right about her. This was why Oliver felt such a connection to Anna. Blaze surfaced in my head. Shoving down all the emotions this revelation had stirred inside me, I faced Eden and asked, "Sarah, her name is Anna Carroll, daughter of the former alpha of the Night Shadow Warrior Pack, John Carroll. She is also an assassin trained by the very famous Crescent Islands Shadow Organization, and currently, she is Oliver's nanny," I explained in one go. Oh, Eden replied dramatically, his hand flying to his mouth. He had been so out of the loop because of being away. "I guess she hid her identity and gave us a wrong name." "Yes, her mate betrayed her and chose her best friend as his mate. They injected her with aconite, which resulted in her losing her wolf. So I am sure she was low on the trust side when she arrived here. The thought of what she would do when she found the truth circled in my head. Knowing her feisty nature, I knew she wouldn't be pleased in the least." "Does she know?" Eden asked, raising a brow at me. I could sense his agitation. "No, and it will stay that way for now." The guilt burnt my insides like acid. It felt like I was committing a heinous crime by hiding this truth from her. "She deserves to know, Asher. Haven't people taken enough from her? She was a really sweet person and never gave us trouble. She gave you a son. Come clean with her," Eden emphasized. "Only he was allowed to call me Asher when we were alone, since he was like my best friend and not only my beta and butler. That's why I have decided to make her my queen and Luna. Once she is in this position, I will gradually reveal the truth to her." Eden exaggeratedly let out a howl of surprise and watched me as if I had suddenly grown horns and a tail and was about to whip him with it. "I am glad you are finally coming out of your shell and deciding to accept a Luna, but don't you think this decision is a bit rash? Considering you haven't even revealed the truth about Oliver. That's her child too. Clear up all these points with her first before you jump into any commitments." Eden began to impatiently pace my room with his hands behind his back. His loafers made no noise against the carpeted floor. I knew he was conjuring up more and more rational advice for me on how bad this decision was. "No, she will freak out and the trust between us will be lost. Just like me, she is low on trusting others because of what happened to her in the past. I can't miss this opportunity. Oliver needs her and so does our pack. The truth will hurt the chances of her accepting this position," I informed him calmly, but he slowly shook his head at me. "Not complying with my decision. The truth always liberates you. The more you delay it, the more difficult it will become to tell it. Just do as I say, Eden. My mind is made up, and one way or the other, Anna is going to become my queen. I want you to start preparing for a proposal and bonding ceremony. Once I deal with this demon business, I am bringing Anna here. Eden gave me a displeased look. Surely he wasn't on board with my decision. Fine, but I won't come to your rescue when Anna learns the truth, he said over his shoulder as he exited my room. Eden had valid points, but seeing the current events and the way Oliver was attached to Anna, I couldn't risk her slipping away from us. My son was my priority, and with every passing day, this belief in him was cementing that Anna was his mate because of the close bond he shared with her. Magical bond of mother and son. I needed to claim her so Oliver would start seeing her in the position of a mother. The sooner I did it, the better it would be for Oliver. And us too, but Eden is not wrong. Anna is going to hate us when the truth will surface. She doesn't forgive that easily, Blaze hummed in my head, and I felt disappointed in myself. My decision had surely kept a mother and son apart. But how could I have known she was different from other materialistic women? One problem at a time, Blaze. Let me deal with the demon and convince Anna to become my queen, and then I will handle the rest. I thought and leaned back on the headrest of the chair, trying to relax.
Ruby impatiently paced her bedroom, waiting for any news from the rogues. Her long silk nightgown trailed behind her as she continuously stared at her phone. Her long, perfectly manicured nails with red nail polish drummed the side of her phone. As the seconds ticked by, her anxiousness grew. She could only hope that nothing would go wrong this time around. At midnight, her phone finally rang, and she quickly swiped at her phone's screen to receive the call, hoping for good news. "Did you succeed?" she quickly asked. "Succeed? She was a demon and we barely survived her attacks. Why didn't you tell us she was trained in combat? She has severely injured all my men. You better pay compensation for their medical." The leader of the rogues yelled back at her through the phone, leaving Ruby dumbfounded. "You are lying," Ruby stated in exasperation. She couldn't believe Anna would be able to beat so many rogues while being injured and having to have lost her wolf. "I am not lying, bitch. You better pay us double to what you promised, or I will kill you instead," he angrily barked before leaving Ruby extremely flustered. Her hand went to her hair, and she pulled them in anger. "I am not paying you for not doing your job, and it's not my fault that you got beaten by a girl. Go train and get a life, you tramp rogue." "I can buy 1,000 men like you," she retorted before cutting the call. For her, rogues were disposable, like tissue paper. Their lives didn't matter. Besides, she hadn't even told them her real name, so they couldn't know her identity, which made her even more cocky. Her nostrils flared as she kept pacing her room in fury and pondered what she was doing wrong. How was she failing again and again in her attempts at killing Anna? How could Anna become so powerful without her wolf to take on the rogues she kept sending her way? What exactly was she missing? She needed to change her strategy and plans. Resentment seeped into Ruby's very bones. The utter hatred she felt for Anna was indescribable beyond words for her. Anna was born with a silver spoon and spent her life in luxury, while Ruby thought she had to work hard to get where she was. He wished for nothing else but to destroy Anna, or there would be consequences so severe that she shuddered merely thinking about them. Ambling towards her desk in the corner of her room, she opened her drawer and pressed its lower side. The wooden panel upturned, revealing a secret compartment. There lay a small silver communicator device with a few buttons on it. With shaking hands, she took out the device and closed the drawer. It had been such a long time since she had used it. This was a tool which she used to directly contact her Alpha of Shadow Howl Pack. In reality, Ruby was a spy sent by the Shadow Howl Pack to spy on the Night Shadow Warriors pack all those years ago. She was asked to befriend Anna and get closer to her in Noah. She constantly extracted sensitive information, took pictures of all the petrol and checkpoints of the Night Shadow Warrior pack, filled Noah's head with poison for Anna and her father while seducing Noah. The attack on their pack was carried out by Ruby's men sent by the Shadow Howl pack. That special serum aconite with which she injected Anna was also provided by them. It was supposed to kill Anna, but instead, all the poison was absorbed by her wolf, Sable, and she went silent in Anna's head. Ruby was sure Anna had died when she had jumped off that cliff, but fate had other plans. Her Alpha had stopped communicating with her after she became Noah's chosen mate. But now, with Anna's return, circumstances had changed. Ruby was trying to get rid of her. She was hiring rogues and sending hitmen her way, but it seemed like it was getting beyond her hands. If her pack learned that she had failed so many times, she would be severely punished, but she needed to report it before they found out through some other source. Her pack was ruthless and their alpha even more. His punishments were extremely severe, especially for failed spies. And for now, it was turning out that she had failed her mission. Her body uncontrollably shuddered, remembering the punishments vetted out in her former pack by their alpha. The rogue leader's threat would be nothing in front of what her alpha would do to her. She would be skinned alive, literally, and she very much liked to keep her skin. She had been spending a fortune on it, while Ruby was still contemplating whether to contact him and inform him of the current situation. Her phone rang, bringing her out of her misery-filled thoughts. Checking the caller ID, she saw the number calling her was hidden. The alarms in her head began to ring in full volume because she understood where the call must be originating from. With trembling hands, she pressed the phone to her ear and spoke in a quivering voice. "Hello? Hello? Ruby? It has been a while." The darkly dangerous voice sounded from the other side, and Ruby's knees violently shook as she struggled to keep standing while trying to keep her phone steady. Her alpha was here to punish her for failing.
Asher's text left me more agitated and annoyed than I wished to admit. It said that the number was traced back to Ruby, and although she used an anonymous line, Asher's hacker was able to break through and trace her number. The fire of revenge burnt deep within me, and it was slowly eating away my sanity. I had to pick up the pace or I would completely be lost in this revenge. I clearly understood Ruby's plan now. She wished to repeat what she had tried earlier at the amusement park and failed. She believed I got lucky last time, but she clearly didn't understand that I had trained hard for 5 years to get where I was. Besides, Asher trusted me with his son and knew of Ruby's foul intentions. I was more than capable enough to protect Oliver. But it was time to turn the table on Ruby and take the battle to her. I was going to make her pay for all her wretched schemes, and below-the-belt hits. After putting Oliver to bed, I changed into an all-black form-fitting shirt and black leggings. I put a black mask over my face and hair and sneaked out. Taking Asher's car, I made my way to my pack but parked way before reaching it. Getting out, I sneaked my way towards the pack and entered through a secluded area. I knew all the places where patrol was minimal. Nostalgia hit me in torrents seeing my pack. The earthy smell of my land was still the same, and no matter how many times I returned, it always saddened me. One day, I will return as the true alpha and will never have to sneak around, I promised myself. Keeping my head low and moving forward on cat feet, I made my way towards the pack house where the guest room used to be. Ruby always stayed there whenever she used to visit me before. I knew she wouldn't be living there after becoming the chosen mate of Noah, but that was a place to start. Keeping in the shadows and flattening myself against the dark walls, I approached her room on the ground floor and peeked in through the window. To my utter surprise, the lights were on and I found Ruby standing there in a silk nightgown with her phone tightly clutched in her hands and glued to her ear. This surprised me beyond anything. I hadn't imagined her to be staying in the very same room. She was facing me sideways and her eyes were towards the wall and not the window. So she didn't detect me, but I could see the expression on half of her face. She seemed scared, almost petrified, and I wondered who must be on the phone to have her so shaken. I stepped closer and placed my ear on the window to hear what was being said. Due to the window pane, I couldn't hear all of the conversation, but bits and pieces flew to me. The name of her pack floated to my ear along with words like spy, aconite, and mission. It made me wonder who she really was and what her intentions were. My mind began to discern and put two and two together. The presence of her pack members when the attack happened. Accessibility of aconite for her and the way she had acted. The more I pondered and heard, the more of the truth unfolded for me. My brows etched together in fury while my heart restlessly pounded against my chest. She was never a facilitator to Noah in the coup against my pack. She was the mastermind, or maybe the main puppet of the mastermind. The ground almost shifted from beneath my feet, realizing the conspiracy went much deeper than what I had believed earlier. Anger clouded my judgment as it overpowered me and my skin flushed hot. My hands balled up and my nails dug into the flesh of my palms. I wished to break this window, leap inside and claw out this woman's eyes. If only I could sever her head from her shoulders. Every day I learnt something new about this despicable woman who had destroyed my life in more ways than I could count. Deep breaths. I reminded myself before I made a rash decision and later regretted it. I watched her with disgust but stayed put, trying to get more information. I needed to know who the person she was speaking to on the phone was. He seemed to be the main culprit, the man behind the curtain who pulled the strings. I needed to find his identity to figure out what he wanted and why he got my father killed. It was very much possible there could be other people involved, and this was bigger than I was currently estimating. I was still staring at her when the room to her door opened and Noah entered. Seeing him, I ducked down so as not to get caught peeking in. But it was dark outside and light was flooding out from the room. Luckily, Noah's attention was on Ruby. I stole a peek again and saw her feeling flustered. She quickly ended the call. Plastering a huge fake smile on her face, she turned to face him. I spoke in hushed voices for a moment, and I could sense she was conjuring up lies. I tried to listen to what they might be saying so I could pick up more clues. For all I knew, they might be plotting against me. But whatever lie Ruby had conjured, Noah had bought it, and right before my eyes, he began to kiss her passionately, his hands fisting the silk of her gown until the fabric tore away in soft, ragged rips. The air in the room thickened with a greedy, unseemly heat, an urgent, wordless tension that hung heavy enough to touch. Even a blind person could sense the reckless, intimate tide rising between them. Ew! I made a disgusted face and looked away. No way I was going to watch these two leechers give in to their unseemly urges. Remaining low, I quickly exited the place and then my pack and headed back with my head swimming with more questions instead of answers. The days sluggishly were spent for Anna. Although she enjoyed her company with Oliver, her mind remained occupied with Asher's thoughts. It had been days since he had contacted her, making her wonder how bad the situation was back at his pack. Did something happen? What could be keeping him so busy? In the loneliness of her nights, she couldn't help but miss his touch and rugged body, the way he had licked her wounds and wrapped her in a warm, tangled closeness their bodies singing a quiet, urgent song that left her skin thrumming with longing. She craved more of that, to be in his arms once again. At times it became laborious to push away his thoughts and work through her day. He was constantly on her mind, like a lingering shadow. Oliver wished to play Monopoly, so both of them got out of the board and got started. Just as Anna was about to take her turn, her phone chimed. Checking the message, she found it to be from Claude. It read, "Hi, and I am going to be visiting Howler City on some important business, and I was wondering if I could stay with you for the time I am there. Can you pick me up from the airport today? I will text you the timings later." A small frown formed upon her forehead seeing Claude's text. His unexpected visit was going to disrupt her plans, and she wondered why he was visiting Howler City. Somehow she was dreading his arrival, and her heart had this unease creep into it. Guiltily, she turned to Oliver. She knew he wouldn't be pleased with the change of plans. "Oliver, I know I promised we would play Monopoly and enjoy snacks, but something urgent came up and I need to go out for a while." Oliver's eyebrows shot up at Anna's words as he apprehensively asked, placing the chance cards down. "What urgent work?" "I have to go meet a friend and pick him up from the airport," Anna explained, but all the hair on Oliver's nape stood up in alarm. "Male friend? Does my dad know you are meeting a male friend behind his back? I don't approve of this," he disapprovingly answered, cutely snorting at her. His small arms crossed on his chest. Anna didn't know if to be amused or alarmed at his reaction. She wished to tell him that his dad didn't own her or could decide whom she could meet, but she held her tongue. He was a child and she needed to be patient with him. "Oliver, you remember I told you I was an assassin for an organization called The Shadow?" He promptly nodded at her question. "Well, Claude is the head of that organization and my colleague. He needs me to show him around, so I have to go meet him. That's all." Anna tried to explain as calmly as possible to a disgruntled-looking Oliver, but she could sense he was not satisfied with her answer. She couldn't put Oliver's life in danger. They had been getting in a lot of trouble lately. Plus, Claude was a dangerous man, being the head of an assassin organization. She didn't wish for it to affect Oliver by any means. Okay, but return soon, Oliver hesitantly permitted. Anna got up to head to her apartment. She instructed the guards to keep Oliver safe in her absence. She changed into a black crop top and jeans, put on her combat boots and headed out to meet Claude at the airport. He had texted her his timings and was arriving within the hour. Reaching the airport, Anna waited for Claude to emerge. Soon he did, dragging a blue trolley bag behind him and wearing black shades. His hair was neatly combed backwards. Seeing Anna, he waved enthusiastically and she did the same. "Anna, it's so good to see you again." He ambled towards her with his arms spread, holding a bouquet of red roses in one hand. "Same, Claude. How have you been?" Anna inquired as both of them embraced. She could feel his arms tightening their hold around her as his hands caressed her back. He was hugging her too intimately. Anna politely tried to end the hug, but taking a step back, he cupped her face and tried to kiss her. But she effortlessly ducked him by moving her lips away so his lips landed only on her cheek. Inwardly, she cringed at the touch. After Asher, her body was automatically feeling repulsed by the touch of any other male. Not ready for this kind of intimacy from him. He had asked her about pursuing a relationship with him before she left, but she had refused him at that time, and her decision still stood. Hurt flashed in Claude's eyes at her refusal to be kissed, but he quickly covered it with his typical smile and handed her the flowers as he asked. "So, tell me, Anna, how is Howler City treating my best assassin? I must say we miss you at the headquarters." Anna reluctantly accepted the flowers and they fell into steps, beginning to move towards Anna's car. "I am working on my plans for now, but the process has been slow. Too many hurdles," Anna explained as they shifted from one topic to another. Unbeknownst to Anna, Oliver had followed Anna with his guards to the airport. He was secretly watching her from the window of his car. When Claude tried to kiss Anna, Oliver captured their picture with his smartwatch. The angle was such that it appeared as if Claude had successfully kissed Anna on her lips. Infuriated at this action, Oliver fumed and forwarded the picture to his father with a furious expression on his face and his eyes holding a determined intent.